The humor is a matter of perspective. What may seem funny to you may not seem funny to me. Classic example. Darren LaCroix said, humor is in the eye of the beholder. I'll give you a classic example of what I'm talking about. Perspective. Is this glass half full or is it half empty?
Twice the size.
Was it partly cloudy today or was it partly sunny? Are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losers? Or do they simply bring out the best in their opponents? It's perspective. By the way, another example of that, another example of perspective is swimming. Sometimes you swim to have fun, right? Sometimes you do it to not die. It's a matter of perspective. I guess it depends on what you're wearing. If you're wearing a swimsuit, that's good, right? If you're wearing a coat and tie, you got a problem. All right, what is humor? Charlie Jarvis, a humorous speaker, said, humor is tragedy separated by space and time. How many times have we said, someday we're going to look back on this and laugh? We said that? Hopefully you're not thinking that right now. But it's true. If you can get enough distance between your bad event, your bad experience, and your perspective, you're going to see the humor in it. What is a joke? According to Webster's dictionary, it's a brief narrative story with a climactic twist, a humorous climatic twist. And the way a joke works is you get the train moving down the tracks in a certain direction. In your preparation and your lead-in to the punchline, you're getting the audience going in a certain direction. And once you've got them going down the tracks, you cause a train wreck. Now, the secret of humor, the art of humor, is knowing when to have the wreck. That's the secret. Now, I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. This businesswoman is sitting at her desk one morning at work, and she's looking at a Fantasy 5 ticket which has all 5 numbers circled. And she knows that this ticket is worth a fortune. Her first instinct is to call her husband, who's sitting at home watching television. She says, honey, you're not going to believe this. I've got a Fantasy 5 ticket with all 5 numbers circled. This thing's worth a fortune. Pack your bags for a trip. He said, great, where to? She said, I don't care, I just want you out of the house by the time I get home. Now see, you all thought they were going on the vacation together, didn't you? Because that's the way the train was going. But the fact that only he was going to be going, that was the train wreck. We're going to talk briefly about 10 types of humor. In the book, we cover all 25 different types of humor. There's a variety of humor for every situation. There's a type of humor for just about anything that could come up for you. The first one, of course, is the most ubiquitous, the one-liner. A one-liner is short, snappy humor. An example, my brother doesn't jog because it makes his beer foam up. And if you knew my brother, you knew that that was more truth than not. The problem with one-liners is too many one-liners, and you can go from a speaker across the line into a comedian. And once you've done that, you're no longer bomb-proof. We're going to talk about how you become bomb-proof when you use humor in just a few minutes. So I would avoid one-liners because in almost every case, your audience is going to know this is a joke. The second type of humor is what we call the rule of 3. Now, when we join Toastmasters, we hear about the rule of 3 in a different context. We hear that if you want to make an important point, you say it 3 times. You make it 3 times, 3 different ways. Well, the rule of 3 in humor is slightly different. The first 2 parts of the joke set the direction of the train and your train of thought. The third step of the joke is the train wreck. In October, I flew to Dallas for my school's homecoming. SMU had their homecoming in October. And I was on the plane, hanging my coat up in the front of the plane before we took off. And the door to the cockpit was open. I heard the pilot talking to the tower. The pilot said, "Tower, what time is it?" I'm thinking, the pilot doesn't know what time it is, we're in trouble. The tower came back on and said, what airline is this? The pilot said, well, I don't see how that matters, I just want to know what time it is. The tower said, well, it does matter. You see, if you're Delta Airlines, it's 2 o'clock. If you're United, it's $1,400. If you're US Air, the big head's on the 12. Now that was a three-part joke, wasn't it? The first two were serious, United and Delta. The joke was United Airlines. Exaggeration. This is humor on steroids. An example of exaggeration would be my singing. I can't sing well at Toastmasters, so don't ask. Because the last time I tried it, I hit high C and spayed my cat. What you're doing is you're taking a statement and you're taking it to an extreme point of view. That's exaggeration. We do it all the time, don't we? We exaggerate in conversation about our abilities or how big the fish was that we caught. Now, the flip side of exaggeration is understatement. How many of you have been introduced and got almost no applause on the way to the lectern? What you could have said when you got to the lectern was, thank you for that rousing round of indifference. That's understatement. So you've got exaggeration, taking something to an extreme, or you can underplay it with understatement. Type of humor number 4, satire. Satire is used to ridicule people or institutions. You've heard the expression, the pen is mightier than the sword. The pen has brought down governments. That's how powerful the word is, the written word. Now, satire, we hear it in a humorous context as well. Jay Leno, a few weeks ago on The Tonight Show, was talking about illegal immigration. He said, the Department of Homeland Security announced that they are cracking down on illegal immigration. They announced that last year they deported 280,000 illegal immigrants. And they have threatened to deport them again this year. Satire, a very powerful tool in your arsenal. Housekeeping humor is humor that you use in the beginning of your presentation to warm up the audience and to connect with them. And there's a number of ways you can do it. You can talk about the hotel or the venue where you're speaking, the food service, the event itself, maybe even reference your written introduction. And by the way, if you prepare your introduction, you know what they're going to say. You can have a snappy comeback ready to go when you get up to the lectern. Housekeeping humor, very important when you're speaking to a new group. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Johnny Carson, when he was the Master of Ceremonies at the Academy Awards years ago, he said, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Academy Awards. 20 minutes of scintillating humor and entertainment spread over the next 4 hours." He immediately bonded with the audience, and he was off and running with that. Parody. This is imitation for comic effect. A parody is something popular and it's altered just enough so that it is still identifiable in its new form, but it's funnier. So a parody is a useful tool in humor. A classic example, country and western song title, "I Can't Get Over You." So roll over and answer the phone. Now see, you still recognize the song title, right? But we've added on to it. We've made it a parody, and we've gotten a laugh. Props. Lily Walters said, "Our words may wane, but it's hard to ignore a good prop." An example.